Hello, we're here with the Indivisible developer. I'm going to let you introduce yourself here.
Hi, I'm Peter Bartholow. I'm the CEO of Lab Zero Games.
Hi. So you just showed us a demo of Indivisible.
Yeah.
It's been here for I think I played last year at E3. We had a demo. It's obviously matured a lot since then.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about kind of what changes you made to the game since then?
Yeah. So since last year, obviously we've been building the rest of the game. This level was mostly the same as last year, but we've layered in a lot of new battle mechanics, also some additional characters to try out, and an all-new boss as well.
Yeah, I kind of died on that boss there. Can you talk a little bit about the game overall, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the boss and some of the other new things we saw in the demo?
Sure. So Indivisible is the tale of Ajna. She's a girl from a backwater kind of village, and one day her village is attacked by a warlord. During that, she discovers that she has this power to absorb certain people into her mind and then manifest them at will. So she chases after the warlord and stumbles upon truths about herself and the world at large that she must confront.
Cool. We saw a couple of new characters, some returning characters in the demo. Can you talk about how you laid out the control scheme, how the battle mechanics work? Because it's pretty different from most RPGs.
Yeah, so I mean, the inspiration for this was an RPG called Valkyrie Profile, which came out on the PS1 and PSP. So yeah, the idea is that your party is basically kind of like a fighting game character, and each character is mapped to one of the face buttons. So spatially, they're oriented similarly to the face buttons in a diamond formation. So the character in the top position, you hit the button at the top, etc. There's kind of a you have to pay attention to what the enemy's doing, because you got to make sure you follow who's defending, who's attacking, right?
But not. How's that been difficult to balance? I mean, I noticed you got some visual cues there, but I got a little confused, honestly. So, are there anything you're trying to do to I don't know, make it a little clearer here?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because we want it to be fast and fun, but at the same time, like, it needs to communicate. So, I mean, we're constantly tweaking it. Right before the show, actually, if you check out the E3 trailer, there are two different versions of the battle indicators in there, if you're really paying attention, because they changed right before the show and in the middle of recording some of the footage. It's something we're constantly working on, and some of it also, I mean, part of the thing is like, this is for backers, and so they're pretty familiar with the game, and they probably want more of a challenge than somebody who's brand new to the game. I think in the final game, we're going to ramp things up more slowly than we are in this build.
Cool. So one of the new things you showed was that spider boss.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the boss design and some of the unique features of this boss, and maybe some of the other bosses you're planning, without too many spoilers, obviously?
Yeah. So the spider boss, it's called Pindayar, kind of plays with this seamless battle transition we have between exploration and battle. And so what will happen is you'll fight him for a little bit, and then he will disengage, and you'll have to either trigger him to re-engage or dodge a bunch of projectiles and things like that. So basically, the bosses, or a number of the bosses, will have, the battle will encompass both aspects of the game.
Cool. So there's a couple of techniques. I think you I don't know if it was you took me off on. There's someone else, your coworkers. You said there were 25 characters?
Yeah, there will be 25 characters other than Ajna in the game.
So what are the challenges in kind of balancing battle mechanics when you're dealing with that large a roster?
I mean, it's a single-player game, so balance isn't that big of a deal, but obviously we don't want one character to be so overpowered that you're always going to use that person. Really, it's just a matter of keeping track of their damage output and also balancing that against the complexity of the character. Baozai, the Pirate Queen, who we introduced in this update, her normal attack basically does no damage, but if you steal coins from enemies first, those will actually power up her other moves. So there's kind of a balance there of like, she's really powerful, but you have to set her up more in order to kind of get that power out of her.
You mentioned earlier about the this demos for backers. It sort of makes you think, what are the challenges in creating a Kickstarter game and kind of balancing kind of what the backers are looking for, what you promised them, and also trying to make sure this is a broad enough game that appeals to newcomers too, right? That they weren't necessarily kickstarting this.
I honestly don't think it requires too much of a balance because the updates that we put out for the backers are meant for everybody, and they do a good job of promoting the game to new people as well. And also like this build we have here is the backer preview, so while it was initially for them, it's a pretty good E3 demo as well, and it's also very useful to get feedback early and often. So we're watching very closely everybody playing this, and like I guarantee you there are going to be changes for tomorrow's build based on some of the things we saw today. And yeah, I don't know. I think it actually works really well, and it makes the game better because the more feedback you have, I think the better the game is going to be.
And you said this is early 2019 game?
First half of 2019, yes.
And it's coming to all the platforms, right? Switch.
Yep, Switch, Windows, Mac, Linux, on Steam, and PlayStation and Xbox.
Do you have any final thoughts for anyone watching this video or listening to the interview?
I hope you like the game. We put a lot of effort and passion into it. Lab Zero is an extremely passionate studio, and we hope you can feel that when you play it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Very much.